Indian Ocean is emerging as the center of the world, the Indian Ocean and the Western Pacific. Now, in this world, what is going on in great power terms is think of China moving vertically south towards the Indian Ocean, and India moving horizontally east and west along the Indian Ocean. China is building or developing state-of-the-art harbor facilities in Gwadar in Pakistan, in southwestern Baluchistan, near to the entrance of the Strait of Hormuz, in Chittagong, in the eastern part of Bangladesh, in Kayuk Fru in Burma, off the natural gas fields of the Bay of Bengal, and in Hambantota at the southern extremity of Sri Lanka. China does not seem to this is a controversial topic about what China intends with these ports. It doesn't seem at this point that China wants full-fledged naval bases there. That would be too provocative to India, and China is at pains to make people feel that its rise is benevolent and non-hegemonic. I think what China envisions, or at least at this stage, is warehousing throughput facilities for commercial goods that will, in all of these ports, that are destined for the Middle East and East Africa. At the same time, China is building bunkering facilities where its warships and merchant marine ships can be stored up with fuel, can get repaired, etc. It's unclear what the Chinese intend. If anyone tells you this is Chinese grand strategy, don't believe them. Because the Chinese themselves may not know what their grand strategy is. Because the Chinese, though it's an authoritarian government, in the end, still has a whole wealth of think tanks, of area experts, of various factions of the party that argue and debate with each other in academic journals and otherwise. So China is feeling its way towards the Indian Ocean with in all of these ports and harbor facilities that it's building are all in countries where China is also providing significant military and economic aid. So, with the combination of strong diplomatic and military representation and the building of these ports, it's clear that China will be able to use these ports, which will be the 21st century equivalent of 19th century British coaling stations, which all along the route that Chinese ships have to sail to bring the hydrocarbons from the greater Middle East to the cities of coastal China. China, whose territory was ravaged by the West, by Japan, by Tsarist Russia in the 19th century and early 20th century, where China was split up into 10 parts, actually. China, with this history, with this nervousness about sovereignty and territoriality, China does not want to leave it up to the United States of America to guard the sea lines of communication forever. At some point, it envisions a blue water navy that will be able to guard the sea lines of communication for itself. Meanwhile, while China is pushing south, and let me just go back. Why is China pushing south? Why does it want to have all this presence on the Indian Ocean? Because China faces a Malacca dilemma. That is, too much of its hydrocarbons are dependent on the narrow, shoal-ridden, at sometimes pirate-infested Strait of Malacca. It wants alternative ways of getting energy to coastal China. It's building pipelines across Central Asia, natural gas, oil pipelines through Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, to bring some of this Middle Eastern energy direct overland into Western China. And it's also it also wants to use these Indian Ocean ports eventually to transport natural gas and oil through pipelines across Burma, perhaps in the distant future through Pakistan, directly into western and southern China, so as to avoid the Strait of Malacca.